Hey everybody, it's Supersonic Boom here, and today I'm just going to be talking about a new movie that just came out called Moana. It's the latest from Walt Disney Animation, and I thought it was pretty good overall. The highlight of the movie for me would have to be the music, with the standout tracks being How Far I'll Go, You're Welcome, and Shiny, which was my personal favorite of the bunch. The rest of the songs were really great and super memorable, but those three were just what stood out the most to me. The animation in the movie was it ranged from being just really good to fantastic in certain parts. There were some really standout shots. From what I can remember, there's this one shot of Maui, one of the characters in the movie, voiced by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, where he's twirling his fishhook. There's one specific part where it just has a really great sense of weight, and it just looks fantastic. There's another shot of a lava monster coming out of the water when we see it for the first time, and it's pretty fantastic. And all of the transformations that Maui goes through I thought were really nice to look at. The rest of the movie's just like beautiful. Like an animator has done their job when you don't even realize they're doing their job sometimes, and then you really notice it whenever you really notice it. So yeah, animation ranged from just really good to really great at times. I really like the character designs in this movie. They felt less generic than a lot of character designs in Disney movies have been feeling lately. So like Anna, Elsa, and Rapunzel from the Frozen and Tangled movies respectively all sort of look like the same character when you put them next to each other. But the character designs in this were pretty great. Maui especially, and I know he was based on Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson primarily. But yeah, I thought his character design was pretty great. Moana herself was pretty good, and the rest of them were pretty memorable as well. The story is where the movie started to not get as enjoyable for me. It was very generic, like your two characters that don't like each other very much coming together and learning to accept each other and work together, and a girl who's not happy with her life, and she wants to do different things from what her father wants her to do. So we've seen the story 1,000 times, and I just really couldn't get very invested in it. I will give it some plus points for the movie not really being about a relationship like a lot of Disney movies tend to be. Like, really, there's not even any hint of anything like that throughout the whole movie. It's sort of just people doing their thing, and there doesn't have to be any romance. And that was a nice, not anything against romance, but it was nice that the movie didn't have to shoehorn that in at any point. Some other things that I found a little bit generic were the sidekicks. I didn't love them. There's this pig in the movie, and it's not even in the movie that much, but they make a big deal of it in the beginning, and then it's just forgotten later on, almost like it was stuck in just for merchandising purposes. And I got on the Disney website, and sure enough, there's like slippers of this pig and pillows of this pig, and there's another chicken character that's a little bit more enjoyable, because it's kind of funny because it's very unintelligent. But the pig is literally just like this generic puppy dog type character that you see in everything, and it's just obnoxious to watch. All the people in the audience thought it was really cute and really nice, but I don't know. It just didn't do it for me. The pig didn't do it for me. The story itself, again, was a little bit generic, and the characters themselves were sort of... Got your villain, you've got the dad that cares and wants the daughter to be, take over, the concerned mom, the wise old crazy grandma, Moana herself, strong independent female who don't need no man. That's nice and all, but just nothing really stood out too much except for Tomatoa, I think is his name. He's a giant crab, and he's who sings Shiny, which was my favorite song in the movie. And he was only in it for like 5 minutes, but he was a pretty standout character with a pretty standout song. Some other things I wanted to talk about, there are just a couple little minor inconsistencies in one of the songs, which is You're Welcome. It's sort of implied that Maui, the demigod, can't swim. and that's why he's trapped and has been trapped on his island for hundreds of years. He even says in the song, "I'm gonna need that boat because Maui can do anything but float," and like that's his weakness, that's his Achilles heel. He can't float, he can't swim, and then like 5 minutes later in the movie, he jumps off of a raft and like swims for a second, just for this short little joke that they do, and so that was annoying. Literally, no one would have noticed that really, or cared about it. It's just a tiny thing. And then another thing was, and I'd have to rewatch to pay attention to this, but it seemed like Moana's accent was kind of inconsistent throughout the movie. Like she didn't really have one for most of it, and then toward like the second half or the end, it was really accentuated, and it was just sort of noticeable to me. And someone else in the audience also noticed it. So I'd have to rewatch to confirm that, but it seemed to me like her accent was a little inconsistent. Her voice actress was really good, and the singing was really good, but the accent was just a little weird. So overall, the music elevates the movie so much. These songs were great, super memorable, right up there with a lot of the Disney classics like Aladdin, Little Mermaid, Princess and the Frog. They're not quite as like emotional as stuff like Hunchback of Notre Dame, or not quite up to the level of like The Lion King, but they are right up there with the classic like 2D Disney movies. And honestly, if you strip away the movie around the songs and just have the songs, I don't know, it felt like I was right back in the classic Disney era. It felt like a movie I would have seen when I was a kid on VHS. From those songs, they're just that catchy and that memorable, but the actual movie around it is a little bit more generic. So overall, I'd say see Moana for the music, and the visuals are really nice too, and then the story's not bad or poorly executed or anything. It's just a little bit generic, but overall, liked Moana, loved the music.